Welcome back to First Trades. Let's connect with Hardik Dhebar. He is the Chief Financial Officer at Delta Corp, here to talk about the quarterly earnings and the outlook ahead. Thank you so much for taking time out, Hardik. Let's talk about the operational numbers. What has really impacted the margins this time around, and what do you believe will be sustainable margins for Delta Corp down the line?
Good morning, Avan. Thanks for having us on the call. I think, the results need to be looked at a little differently. While, yes, on the face of the results, the margins look under pressure, but one has to factor in a event which was already planned, which is our dry docking of our main vessel, which is Deltin Royale, which contributes more than 60-70% of the revenue on a monthly and a quarterly and an annual basis. Now, that vessel was out of operation for about almost a month. And therefore, if you see the top line or the revenue for the quarter as compared to the previous quarter also has gotten impacted, but which is a natural phenomenon. This happens every 3 years, every 5 years at regular intervals. And therefore, I think the margin depletion, if anyone is looking at, I think should look at it in that light. And I would rather want people to look at the overall annual numbers where EBITDA margins have been resilient and strong at both at the EBITDA level as well as the net profit level. On a like-to-like basis, considering the fact that even if I was to regularize the operation for the previous years for the full 12 months of operations, even then we have grown at about 50% on the EBITDA and over 150% on the net profit. So I think overall the business has been very resilient. And I think that is the trend that we should be looking to monitor and see going forward as well.
Hardik, hi, morning. Where is it that you see Delta Corp headed in, say, the next 5 years? And, what vision are you now foreseeing for the company? Because clearly online skill gaming revenue has grown smartly as well. You think that's a segment where you would want to make all the future investments in and grow that?
Hi, Aisha. Good morning. No, I think it's both the offline gaming as well as the online gaming, which are going to be the engines for growth as far as Delta Corp is concerned. While it is very well in the public domain, we have a large vessel which is coming. We are replacing one of our smaller vessels with a larger vessel, which obviously will address the issues around, the future capacity, future growth, and the trajectory of the business and where we see Delta Corp going. Similarly, as far as we all know, we have filed a DRHP for the online gaming business as well. The markets were a little bit uncertain in between, and therefore we weren't sure of taking the issue public. But now I think we are seeing stability. Plus, around the online gaming, there have been developments around MeitY coming out with clarifications, regulations, guidances, self-regulatory body mechanisms, which is all making the business more robust, more clear from an investor perspective as well. And therefore, I think the IPO also should be well on its way sooner rather than later. And therefore, I think both these businesses, whether it is offline or online, both are going to be engines for growth as far as Delta is concerned.
Delta Tech IPO sooner rather than later. But, you were talking about these regulations, and just recently you have the GST rate, which is likely to be at about 28% for online games by chance. That's betting, casinos, etc. And that is the current rate, right? So there's not going to be really any incremental impact on the business. Is there any other clarity on tax structure that's required or needed according to you?
So as far as the rate is concerned for the offline business, you are absolutely right, Avan. There is no change in the terms of rate at which it is being computed today or that is being proposed. I think there was a slight ambiguity around the methodology of computation, but I think we have made a very, very strong representation to the group of ministers who were kind enough to come and visit the casinos physically and see the operations for themselves, understand the entire business. And we are very, very confident and hopeful that the outcome of the GUM is going to be in line with what the world practices and what the Indian industry, gaming industry has been practicing pre-GST era as well as in the GST era. So I think there is while the market is waiting for a clarity from the council as and when it meets. But I think more or less we are very confident and comfortable as far as the offline gaming is concerned. And like you rightly said, online gaming, there is enough clarity being provided by the government in form of MeitY and the Information Technology Ministry, making it more and more clear and giving it a more robust industry status as far as the online is concerned. So I think we are in a very good space, Avan.
The operational numbers, given that your operating profit margins have fallen below 30% versus 37%, if I'm not mistaken, on a sequential basis, the casino gaming EBIT also has come down to 50 crore rupees versus a comparable of 61. What numbers and what visibility can you share with us for the next few quarters? And is the worst behind or not?
No, so Aisha, that's exactly what I explained at the beginning of when Avan put the question to me, is that one has to take into consideration the fact that the largest vessel that Delta operates, called Deltin Royale, was out of operation for 1 month. And, if I'm doing about, say, 90 odd crores give and take in a month, and 60% of that comes, or say 65% comes from Deltin Royale, and it's out for the entire month, obviously it's going to reflect on the revenue. And this being a very, very high operational leverage business, it obviously will reflect in the margins. So if you were to regularize and assume that disruption of operation because of these maintenance, I would have clocked more or less similar or better revenue than what I did in Q3, and therefore the margins would have been also similar or better. And I think it's directly proportional to the drop in revenue, given the extraordinary situation around the maintenance shutdown of sorts.
And are you worried at all with the fact that Tamil Nadu has gone ahead and said that they have, banned illegal online gaming? Is that gambling rather? Is that a worry for other states coming up with the same thing?
So, fortunately for us, unlike Rummy, where the concentration is very heavy in the southern states, poker has always been a pan-India game, more or less evenly spread across all geographic locations. So one state or the other really doesn't make too much of an impact on the top line or the bottom line. Having said that, yes, you will have a knee-jerk reaction of sorts because there are people or consumers in those states immediately get impacted. But I think then the business grows in the other geographies, and it will take its own course. And now, the worry around whether other states will take such course or not, therefore this MeitY and the self-regulatory body mechanism is going to help, wherein one of the roles that MeitY and the SRBs are going to play is go and make representations to the various states where these arbit decisions are being taken today, where, one fine day you have a Tamil Nadu which is banning it, and the other day it's an Andhra Pradesh that's banning it. So I think that is something which will be more kind of regularized with this interface in form of the self-regulatory bodies, as well as the ministry itself being responsible for kind of regulating the online gaming space. So I think better days are to come, according to me.
All right. On that note, we'll let you go. Hardik, thanks so much for taking time out and joining in. That's the word coming in from Delta Corp on their numbers. It is largely on account of one of their vessels being not operational for nearly a month, but they're talking about the IPO for Delta Tech pretty soon on the anvil.